Hey everybody, welcome to the Rhizocast. Here we are today going over a raw key. First appearance of Red Sonja in Conan the Barbarian number 23. Um, I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan. It's part of me. Doing this video is um, wanted to highlight there's a thing going on where his family home is in desperate need of reconstruction. Um, they're saying it's going to be $100,000 to uh, fix it up so that it can remain a tourist destination for us nerdy dudes. Um, I went there maybe 15 years ago, some a little less than that. Um, but I mean, it's cool. You can see his home. They've reacquired a lot of the books that, when he passed away, got dedicated to the local library. A lot of furniture that was um, taken by other families in the town over the years was returned. They've done a lot of cool work there, and it's a really small town. If you go there, you should check out the Dairy Queen. I think there might be a red light. I can't remember, but I do know that when I went, the only open restaurant was a Dairy Queen, so that was kind of funny. Anyway, so this issue, we'll just dive right in. The art is, of course, written by Roy Thomas, art by Barry Smith before he goes by Barry Windsor Smith, ink by Buscema, so that's cool. And it says right here, freely adapted from the story by Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan. And it's, I don't even know if this is actually what story this is adapted from or whatever, because like it says, freely adapted. Opening up here, Conan fighting a bunch of dudes for basically no apparent reason, and it's good to start in the middle of things or whatever. This guy probably needs. I should join. This guy needs 250 skinny guys. Anyway, a lot of words in this book. I read issue 1 of this not that long ago. I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan, and I am not really that big of a fan of what they do with Conan. I guess I know everybody says this run is so great, but I don't know. I really stand by the original Robert E. Howard stuff as what there is that's really great. Um, so he's like literally murdering people because he has um, a message to deliver to a king from the king's daughter, and they don't respect him because he's a barbarian instead of being dressed like them. Anyway, he convinces them to let him go talk to the guy. They make this horrible joke, and he goes, "Are you really a barbarian?" And the lady friend goes, "He needs a barber at least." It's See, so this is one of my problems in general with interpretations of Conan, is the definition of a barbarian changed greatly between Robert E. Howard's time and this time. So originally, or maybe not originally, during Robert E. Howard's day, a barbarian was somebody that could walk between two worlds. They could walk into civilization, or they could live a life of savagery. Since that time, barbarian has just become synonymous with a life of savagery. Um, but the whole thing with Conan is like he's a man of two worlds, and his intelligence allows him to exist in both worlds. Anyway, I like to think that's kind of where a lot of artistic people lie, because the world is a savage and vicious place, and to be an artist you need a certain level of sensitivity, I think. So I think in a way that's what was being played in Robert E. Howard's mind with this character, that the idea of Robert E. Howard being two things at once and this character being two things at once. So the guy's like, okay, yeah, I'll send troops to help my daughter and her husband that's a king of another land. But first, can you just hang out and tell us some stories? And Conan doesn't even say anything. He just takes the little bit of gold the guy gave him and walks out. And this guy's like, you can't do that. And Conan's like, stop talking to me, or take your sword out, or take out your sword. And the guy's like, okay, I'll let him go. So the prose is very purple prose or whatever, and it has some great over the top lines, like right here. It's, for only when one is penniless should he sell his sword to men whose wives have tried to kill him. So it's totally over the top. Then so this is a guy who's doing a siege on a city, and he has a scar on his face from Conan. This is I assume he's a mercenary or whatever, and he has these are not real wings. These are just decorative, which to me, if you're a soldier or whatever, why are you adding this liability for when you go into battle? But whatever. So he's like, yeah, I'll track that Conan dude down for you and kill him. I'll use this magic stone to be able to find him. Here we are. We're in the monthly bulletin from Marvel. What's going on with this week? There's a little article here about that Marvel had donated some comics for a tutoring program held by the University of Massachusetts, and they're saying that the use of comics has been excellent at increasing literacy levels. And this is in the early 70s, so it's interesting that that's all that conversation is going on then. And then this portion to me is interesting. This is about Marvel had just expanded their line pretty dramatically in this era, and it's talking about that they're having problems publishing on time, and they've decided to do something where they'll have some one-off issue stories saved so that they can be published when things are running behind. So that's cool that they have that out there. And then in the checklist, they have Fantastic Four listed because that's their top seller at this point. But what's interesting to me is they have supernatural thrillers, Doc Savage, Vault of Evil, Journey into Mystery. That this is the reprint version of Journey into Mystery. They have basically 3 horror books listed there as the ones that they're blurbing out, versus everything else that they're publishing is just showing just the name of the title basically. I don't know, maybe this is coming out near Halloween or something is why they're pushing the horror stuff. I'm not really sure. Anyway, moving on. Back to Conan the Barbarian. So, blah, blah, blah. Little little battle ensues. This guy's gonna go off to find where Conan is. And here's Conan, and you'll notice the three necklaces that he's often known for, the three giant gems. This lady is wearing them. And when she wakes him up, he's like, "Oh, it's you. Hold on, I think I have another penny." So you would assume that means she's a prostitute of some sort because she's got his jewelry and he's offering her literally a penny, which is kind of funny. And she's like, the city's under attack from this guy, but I don't know why he'd come this far south. And he's like, I know why they're coming after me. And he's like, okay, come on, I'll take you out of town. You can ride with me on the horse. And she says, no, she wants to die with her own people or whatever. And then when he's trying to escape, it's not really working out. They've kind of trapped him, and they kill his lady. Conan's ladies do not really last long in general. You'll see if you read any of the original short stories, it's like he gets a lady at the end of almost every episode, and by the next episode, he don't have no ladies no more. So he ends up realizing he's completely outnumbered. He knocks a man off a horse, kills him, steals the horse, runs away. So he goes back to this town that earlier on he said he wouldn't go to because the queen had tried to kill him or whatever. And guarding the gates is Red Sonja. This is her first appearance right here, this little part right there. It is interesting how the way this is laid out very much looks like a comic strip style, like brump, 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 brump. 1 week, you know. Centerfold ad for what's going to be on Saturday mornings on NBC. Some of these I've heard of, some of these I do not know. It's like, okay, we got Pink Panther, Underdog, Jetsons, The Hound Cats I've never heard of, Roman Holidays, I remember this existing. This does predate me, this comic. So the Barclays, to my knowledge, is my first hearing of it. C-Lab 2020, I saw reruns of that when I was a kid, and then of course they did the C-Lab remake thing on Adult Swim. That was pretty fun. This is a Jerry Mahoney cartoon? I had no idea Jerry Mahoney was still active at this point. It's saying it's a game show? I don't know anything about that. Around the World in 80 Days, I remember seeing a couple episodes of that at some point in life. And then this is a kids news show called Talking with the Giant, where kids interview celebrities and stuff. So, you know, it's interesting to me. When you read the back issues, looking at the ads and figuring out what else is going on at the time. Anyway, back in. The art is really great. It's easy to take it for granted, but the art is really good. I assume it's laborious. Once again, you see it's doing that grid thing that would easily translate into a strip, which it works, you know. It is really easy to read. But like I said, there are so many words. And then he's like telling Red Sonja, thanks for, he's right here. He's like, nobody fights all of my battles for me. So he goes out after they're saving him to kill a few folks. And then he's asking Sonja what her name is and stuff. And he's like, he's like, thanks for saving me. And she's like, look, I'm just a soldier. I just do a job. I couldn't care less if you had your head chopped off out there. And then this is great. There's a little dog here and barking at him. He just goes, shut up, dog. Because he generally refers to humans he doesn't like as dogs. So it's kind of funny. And so here we are, and this guy still trying to take out Conan and everything. And so and then here it is that he's like thinking about how amazing Red Sonja is because she can kill people and she can drink everybody under the table, but no man gets to doink her or whatever. And then the dog barks at him again. He throws a can at it or whatever. And then here's this same queen that I assume this happened in a previous issue. I haven't read them all, but she had given him a gift that was cursed and made a monster chase after him previously. So that's why he's a little irked about her. And then they do a siege on the city. And then it ends up that there were some spies that he got duped by that they're trying to move on. I love all these little ads like this. I'm not bothering to go over them all, but they are cool. You can have your poem set to music. Then Red Sonja shows up, saving Conan once again. And he's like trying to tell her how to fight, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up!" and throws a dagger right next to his head. He gets himself untied, and he joins the fight. And then this dude with the wings is coming up, and they face one-on-one, and he's not scared of Conan at all. He's like, "Look, I'm the finest bladesman in all of Turin," and Conan just says, "But we're not in Turin, and I was born a Cimmerian." And so he smashes the lamp that's lighting up the room and fights in darkness off panel, and then it just cuts away, like, and the king that had hired the guy, this is his palace or whatever, he gets a box brought to him as a gift. He opens it and he's like, "Oh," and then I would have thought they would have done it more visually, but maybe they had their hands tied, but you can only barely tell that it's the guy's head that's presumably in the box, but it doesn't really go over what's in there in a meaningful way. You just kind of have to know that that's what's happening. It doesn't mention that it's his head or anything, but I mean, I guess it does here. "If I bring you not his head, I give him leave to send you mine." So that was the deal that the guy made with the when he got hired to kill Conan, that one of them would die, and so it was that guy instead of Conan. The next issue, Red Sonja's on the cover, and I believe has her origin, so I'll probably go over that issue as well sometime soon. I always think it's interesting how much they advertise diet aids in these old comics, and I wonder, like, who is the target market for this audience? Is it because I mean, I guess the target is moms or whatever, because in this era, comics were mainly seen as something for kids. But it's interesting. And then there's always ads for in this era for stuff about becoming cartoonists, um, and that there's a lot of stuff like the transition from being a GI to being a cartoonist. Not sure how often that was really a thing, but it's there. I don't know this toy product, but anyway, it's fine. Is it worth the $100 or whatever that people pay for it? Maybe. Um, but I'm probably about to sell this, so I guess it's not worth $100 to me. Anyway, thanks for sitting with me through this. And like I said, if you can, you can Google. If you want, you can Google it. But the Robert E. Howard House, they're taking donations right now. Last I checked, I think they're at 26,000 of the 100,000 they need. Because the building is on the National Registry of Historic Places, they need to hire people that are properly vetted and everything, and so that's making the price much higher than it normally would be for the repairs. It needs to be somebody that's certified for restoring historical homes and all this. So, and it needs to be done in a certain method, which it's a double-edged sword when it comes to things like that. I love historic buildings. Been on historic preservation commissions in multiple towns now. I've restored multiple historic buildings. But anyway, Robert E. Howard. I'd read the original Robert E. Howard stuff over most of the comic adaptations. But that's just me. I'll talk to you guys again soon.